Welcome to Community Foundation Spotlight. I'm Spicer Bell. I'm the president of Community Foundation of Eastern Shore. And through this series of programs, we highlight the work done by nonprofit organizations in our area. This is going to be a fun show, I think. Today we're hosting Lora Bottinelli, and Lora is executive director of the Ward Museum of Wildfowl Art. Have I got it correct?
Yes.
Every once in a while, I want to get my tongue tied about that one. So, busy fall here at the Ward.
It is. Thank you for having me on the program to be able to share with the public about everything we've been up to.
Yeah. I mean, Lora, I think I've shared with you, in fact, I shared with the community in a letter to the editor recently. I've been with a friend who's lived in the area for years and confessed to me he'd never been to the Ward till he came to a reception that we sponsored. And he was amazed and said, well, he was going to become a regular visitor. I think Ward is certainly one of the hidden treasures of our area.
Well, we'd like to make sure that everyone knows about it. It should be one of the public treasure of the area.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your letter to the editor because you gave a mention to the museum's recent accreditation by the American Association of Museums. And so we've been getting national recognition for our work, and that is a major milestone for the organization to show, its public presence, its community engagement, its stability, and just the level of work it does. And it is a testament to everything that everyone has done recently to engage the museum in community programs, to be open to attending our events and spreading the word about all the good things we do.
Yeah, great. Well, congratulations on the accreditation. That's not, I know that doesn't come easily, and there's not a lot of museums that get that designation.
Right. There's only 4% of museums in the United States that are accredited, and it was a tough road because the standards of the museum field are set for, even though they take in consideration your size, the Smithsonian is an accredited museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and so they definitely have a very skilled team of professionals who make sure you're meeting and exceeding the standards that are set for the museum community. And
they look at your mission and how you're going about accomplishing that mission and what have you. Yeah.
But in the process, we discovered something very special for Salisbury, is that Salisbury, Maryland is the only community of its size to have both an accredited zoo and an accredited museum. So we are one of a kind in the nation to have such resources, museum and zoological location to be able to bring people in and engage. And I think that's a story worth telling as many people as you can because Salisbury is a special place, and this is just one other way that we stand out nationally.
And within walking distance of each other. I mean, it really, if, of course, we love when we have house guests bringing over to the museum or the Ward and are always amazed at their reaction and response to those facilities. So we want to encourage our local residents to visit more often.
That's right. So,
now, speaking of visit, you had a lot of visitors on a recent weekend.
Right. Our Chesapeake Wildfowl Expo was the first weekend in October, and we celebrated our accreditation at our Friday night event, and then Saturday we had it's a way for people to really learn about waterfowling traditions. We had decoy makers who do their decoy contest in the backyard. We had a buy, sell, and trade in our parking lot. Our kids drop-in art area for kids was just like packed on Saturday morning, which is connected to the audience that we've built up with the drop-in art Saturdays, which are the third Saturdays every month, and it's free art programming. So all those families came back to our free weekend and got into some arts and crafts in the backyard. So,
which is one of the things I wanted to get into because I brought the rubber fish. And the rubber fish is part of those kids' art programs, right?
Right. That's for doing a fish printing lesson, and it's a tool to be able to connect some sort of hands-on art to then lessons about the environment and a takeaway in order to see how you connect to nature and connect to place.
And the kids can paint the fish, I guess, as it really might be in nature or as they envision it in their imagination.
Right, and then do a printing of it on paper and be able to take that home with them.
I couldn't resist bringing along the rubber fish.
Now, if it was a rubber duck, that would be a different kind of
a little more difficult,
story.
A little more difficult to print. but and this one doesn't talk like that talking bass or anything that we've seen. So, okay, but neat example of just some of the hands-on activities that you do. Certainly under your leadership in recent years, the museum has done a lot more educational outreach, a lot more effort to try to get kids through the schools and in non-school settings involved with the war. What are some of the things you've done?
Well, we've found the secret is to be able to reach the teachers directly and provide resources to the teachers that then they can bring into their classroom, and then will fuel field trips and opportunities for the students. And then we're able to then make those into family programs on the weekends. So we have two curriculums that we're actually working on trainings on this fall and spring. And the first is supported by Community Foundation funds. It's our Pass It On curriculum. This was a major project the museum produced last year in partnership with the Maryland Heritage Area Authority, many of our local museums, the NAB Center. Lots of people had their hands into making sure that this project came to light. It's a curriculum for K through 12 students, and it's a tool that teachers can use in their classroom to be able to bring information about the cultural heritage and traditional arts of the Eastern Shore into the school system. This is available online with a number of different extensions online that you can have access to films we've done on Pac14 related to hunting and trapping, related to oystering and clamming, all kinds of different programs. But the funding that the Community Foundation has provided is going to support hands-on teacher trainings at the Ward Museum. It's going to also support field trips for local schools to come to the museum and utilize materials in here and to do things like the fish printing or other hands-on programming related to traditional arts programming. And it's a great resource, even if you're not an educator, just pulling together a number of the themes related to our cultural heritage. And I know you have some favorite parts that you've already bookmarked in there. Is there anything?
Well, no, it's a wonderful publication, and of course, I grew up on the Eastern Shore, and it's somewhat nostalgic for me to look back through this, some of the photographs, read some of the content, but it is part of our cultural heritage here that we really do need. It's part of what we are that makes us Eastern Shore persons and shaped this area the way it is culturally, and it's important that we pass it along to the next generation. And it's a great vehicle for that.
Right. And just for those teachers who are watching, at the very back, you'll see the important grid where it's aligned to the Maryland State Voluntary Curriculum. So this is for the social studies program, but it also has extensions into the art, the sciences, into mathematics and things like that. And then as the students leave the classroom, when they encounter the signs for farmers markets or for, Combine Days, Blessing of the Combines out of Snow Hill, that there's a way that it actually connects to their coursework, and so then their everyday experiences are connecting to their experiences in the school. And we do a lot of programming throughout the year for people of all ages related to the themes in this Pass It On curriculum, but this was designed for the school system.
So it's kind of neat. I mean, I just opened it randomly here, and you got contrast the muskrat skinning contests, which are big over in Dorchester County. Pumpkin chunking, which is a national, it's a national audience now. It goes on to Arthur W. Purdue Stadium, and the Shorebirds is a part of our current culture here, and it's just part of what young people are growing up with, and they ought to understand the role it plays in terms of shaping their worldview and everything.
That's right.
So.
And the other theme that we've been really dealing with more is how connecting children with nature. And we were very fortunate to receive external funding from the PNC Foundation for Growing Up Wild, which is another curriculum for educators to bring into the schools. But this is tailored for ages 3 through 7, and it's Growing Up Wild, Exploring Nature with Young Children. And so it's another toolkit to be able to create lessons, create experience so that children can have quality experiences with nature, and it is a building block for them to then shape the way that they are engage with their community, engage with the environment for the rest of their lives. And so this program is also going to be offered through the fall and the spring at the museum, and it will also have family workshops on the weekends that engage with some of the materials in here. So your children may be seeing some of these lesson plans in their classroom, and then you might see one of the program offerings at the museum on the weekend, and so it'd just be a way to bridge what they're doing in school to your time, your free time on the weekend. But this is a very robust program produced by the Council for Environmental Education. And again, it has a, it's a very, definitely a way to draw kids in. This page is about music and movement, but utilizing the environment and themes of nature to be able to deal with all those other healthy experience that kids can have.
And healthy things, experience kids can have, in particular with an emphasis on getting them outdoors.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have too many young people who are growing up now, and they have no connection with the outdoors. I saw something that a typical, I think 6 or 7-year-old can name 30 different brands of cereal, but they can't name a single species of bird.
Right.
Yeah, and they spend a lot of time in front of television and video games and things like that, and don't really learn to appreciate the outdoors and the recreational opportunities there.
Well, that's one way we like to use the museum site is a gateway. Is that we have a nature trail, and it's a maintained trail. You have immediate access to a restroom and to the internal environment of the museum if it's hot or it's rainy. But for those families that are looking for sort of easy ways to get outside and then to know that you have it's a bridge that then if you have a comfort and ability to deal with some of the experiences outdoor with your little kids and then be able to identify some species using the signs that we have on the ground, that when you then go take a hike along a public trail, you have that much more of a something to lean back upon. And
some wonderful other opportunities in the area if you can get people, families used to doing that. I mean, certainly there's the city park.
Right.
I mean, it's easy walk to the zoo, Bands, Red Swings, and the rest of the way around the city park. Pemberton has Pemberton Park has great nature trails, what have you. Not all that far from Assateague and Chincoteague. So there's lots of the state parks down on the Pocomoke River, and then Janes Island. If you want to go as far as Chrisfield, some great opportunities to get outdoors. So that's just some of the ways that we're trying to bring together the resources of our community to the museum and be able to share them and create experiences for families and teachers and students. Wonderful. Great. You're watching Community Foundation Spotlight. I'm Spicer Bell. I'm the president of the Community Foundation Eastern Shore. My guest today is Lora Bottinelli, and Lora is the executive director. Is that the right title? Okay. Executive director of the Ward Museum of Wildfowl Art here in Salisbury. If you have not visited the Ward Museum, you're missing it. It's a great opportunity. Now, you've been doing free admission as part of this accreditation. How long is that, or is that finished? That is complete. Our viewers have missed their opportunity. But there are other times throughout the year where we do free admission. Our openings for our new exhibits are typically free admission opportunities where we actually have receptions that are part of our exhibit openings. And the next one of those is just around the corner. It's December 2nd, and we'll be opening up Swan Fall, which will be an exhibit that showcases swans in our culture and in our environment. And the companion piece to that, we are actually doing a second printing of Tom Horton and Dave Hart's book by the same title, Swan Fall, Journey of the Tundra Swans. This is just the printer's proof. The material, it's hot off the press. It may be actually sitting at the museum on Monday morning. Okay. But for those viewers who are unfamiliar with the work of David Harp and Tom Horton, they are really excellent documentary
regarding the Chesapeake Bay. Dave is a celebrated, nationally honored photographer. Tom is a nationally recognized writer. He's faculty at Salisbury University, and they both have dedicated their careers to understanding the Bay and presenting it to the public. So this book, they printed it several years ago. It's out of print, and so in a way to bring this theme back to the Lower Shore, we're going to have an exhibit and then a book signing and a series of talks related to the publication.
Great Christmas gift idea.
You're right on target with the timing.
Yeah, their books are really great. One of the more recent ones was on the Nanticoke,
right.
and we have that. And I don't know whether you want to consider it a coffee table book or not. It's one that stays out in our house a lot. We've given several copies to family members, and it's one of those publications you just keep revisiting. And I'm sure this one's the same way.
And for those of viewers who have not experienced the swan migration as it's coming through our area, it's really a sight to behold. And the easiest way to find swans is to actually look on Shoemaker Pond. The extension of the pond that is closer to Mallard Landing, where the county park is. In the winter season, you will see tundra swan out on that pond. And we are just hoping for the opening of Wildfowl on December 2nd that they will make their appearance on the portion of Shoemaker Pond by the Ward Museum, which would be just a...
I guess, as you know, I live on the pond, so I guess I should go out in my kayak and shoo them towards the museum at that point.
That would be, at least they'll be flying overhead as you're walking along on the
they're
Ward Museum.
Beautiful animals,
and they have a very distinctive call, and they are just, that is what is the inspiration for this book, and I think any viewer who encounters them would just fall in love.
Great. Well, very good. And that show is going to open on December 2nd at the, and that will have an opening reception.
Right. The free reception is from 5 to 7 p.m. Dave and Tom will be present, and we'll do a short talk about Wildfowl, and then of course the exhibit in our welcome gallery will give a glimpse into some of the artifacts and stories behind swans as part of our culture.
Wonderful. What else is going on at the Ward?
Oh, well, we mentioned the holidays. It's a really important time of year for us because it's, I don't know, the setting at the museum, we do a holiday setting, and we encourage people who are bringing in families and friends through the holiday season to use the museum as part of their way to introduce their families to the area. Of course, we have our gift shop, which is a perfect place to buy things for the holidays. We have a number of specials running through the holiday season for that.
Now, to visit the gift shop, you do not have to pay admission to the museum. Let's remind folks that.
Yeah, you just can walk in just like a regular store. We're open 10 to 5, Monday through Saturdays, and noon to 5 on Sundays. And there are many different ways to get a discount in the shop. It supports the Ward Museum, which is a nonprofit organization. It's a local business. We have works of local artists, so if you're looking for a different way to set the tone for your shopping season, come in the museum doors. And
you may have some family members who are from the shore, or moved away, or in other parts of the country. The gifts are a great way, in many cases, to send a little taste or feel for the shore to those family members who are away from here.
That's right. And, you know, our work with Salisbury University, for those university students who are watching, you know, we've been working with many of the different faculty members over there. So the museum is finding their way into the classrooms throughout campus, and student volunteers and community volunteers have really picked up in the past year related to the Shore Can Volunteer Center and the work of our volunteer department, but we are always looking for volunteers. So if it's not that you want to experience our program, but we're really looking for a way to give back to the community, everything from administrative work to events work to education work to grounds, everything can happen at the museum, and we're able to work with volunteers of all ages and abilities in a variety of ways. So give us a buzz.
Somebody's interested in volunteering, how do they get in touch with you?
They can call the museum directly. Our volunteer office extension is 109.
Give that phone number, and I'm sure
is
our friends here at Pac14 will show it on the screen.
410-742-4988, or they can go onto the Shore Can Volunteer Center website and find a little bit about our offerings.
And that's www.shorcan.org. SHORECAN.org. And the War Museum always has their active volunteer opportunities listed there. You can just click on it, get the details, sign up over the internet, and your volunteer coordinator then gets in touch with them.
That's correct.
So great. So and you've as last I heard, you've recruited some great new volunteers that way.
We do, and they're their own community of amongst themselves. Is that they come in and they do their volunteer work, but then they make long-lasting friendships and use the museum as a meeting place and a place to bring in new people into their opportunities. They take field trips together. The next trip is to Atkins Arboretum. They recently took a trip to Cape May, so it's a real way to build new social bonds for those people who are looking to connect, maybe newcomers to the area. And like I said, there were volunteers of all ages. We have student volunteers through the school system, and then senior volunteers who are in their retirement looking for ways to engage.
So if we have a young person in school systems looking to get those community service hours, they could contact you, and there are opportunities there.
There are opportunities there.
So, and I know you've had I think you've had a couple of projects on the grounds that have been done as Eagle Scout projects.
Yes, we have had Eagle Scout projects. We did some work on our nature trail. We installed lots of different benches, so when people walk around the trails, they have places to sit. They had done our duck blind in previous years. But speaking of the grounds are going through a transformation at the museum. We're in the middle of installing, I think it's up to 8 bronze sculptures on the museum grounds. So there'll be an exterior sculpture garden as you approach the museum. Those will be installed, I would say, in the next 6 to 8 weeks. We've started the landscaping work required for that, but they're going to be beautiful additions to the community. Works from really prominent wildlife artists that have been given to the museum and are going to be put on public display. And we also recently received notification of a State Highway Administration grant to be able to do some renovations to our nature trail. So if you can't been inside the museum and haven't taken in our grounds or just walking by, please come and check out all the wonderful new additions. It's all meant to make the campus of the museum part of the community fabric, and then also really just have a way for people to experience nature indoors and out.
Going to look forward to that. That's neat. I mean, it was just a couple of years ago that you were featured in one of the travel atlases.
Right, the Rand McNally Road Atlas. That's right. Being
a place not to miss if you were in the area. So.
And so we've been continuing to do improvements to our grounds related to that. So
great. Now you're also, I've seen some activity just the last few days, starting some major construction.
Yes.
New roof?
That's right. The roof over one of our galleries is being replaced with support from Salisbury University. It's just part of the things that need to be accomplished to keep the museum in tip-top shape. So if you are coming to the museum between now and the end of November, you may see some construction activity. And just to be mindful, it's just part of our continual improvement. And yeah, that's important milestone for any organization to make sure your roof is...
Got to keep the roof from leaking.
That's right.
That sort of thing. But the museum is part of the Salisbury University system, part of Salisbury Foundation, but you also are dependent on other funding sources. Tell our viewers a little bit how that works.
That's right. The Word Foundation is an affiliated foundation of Salisbury University. So we have a very rich partnership with the campus community. And when you come to the museum, you're on the university grounds, and you're looking at a university building and experiencing the collection that's owned by the university. But the Word Foundation is the pulse. It puts in all of the programming hours, it provides the staffing, it provides the experiences, all these educational opportunities that we've been talking about in our special exhibits. So we do our own fundraising related to that. And one of the opportunities that's very accessible in a way for the community support is our annual raffle. And we are raffling off a pair of miniature Ward pintails that are really quite exceptional. You can see them on our website or in our gift shop. And it's just like any of the many nonprofits that you work with. We do these annual raffles, our membership program, our general contributions, corporate sponsorships, and all of that. So we are certainly looking for those opportunities to bring in donors and supporters to the museum. And it complements the partnership that we have with the university so that we're able to provide as rich experiences as we can.
Right. You mentioned corporate sponsorships. How can, if we have a viewers involved with a local business, how can a local business get connect with the ward and maybe do some mutual promotion or what have you?
Well, the easiest way to get involved is as a corporate member, and then it's an annual contribution, and there's various levels of recognition depending on the corporate membership level. And then there's corporate sponsorship, where we actually work with you on an event, whether it's our World Championship or Art and Nature Photography Program, one of these educational opportunities where then your company name is affiliated with that event, and it's shared visibility and shared support. So we tailor those programs specifically to the needs of organizations. One of the biggest changes we made to our corporate membership program is that at a certain level of giving, the employees of your organization receive the member benefits as well. So if you have an employee group size of 25 or 100, they would be able to receive free admission to the museum, the discounts at in our workshops. So companies that are looking for a new employee benefit, corporate membership at the museum allows them to provide those free admission opportunities throughout the year for their employees.
Very nice. Great. Now you have a website. Let's give that website address.
Wardmuseum.org.
That's an easy one. Wardmuseum.org. Well, congratulations on the new accreditation for the museum, for the activities you've had this fall.
And thank you to everyone in our community who helped us get there. It was a long road, and we had thousands of volunteer hours that went into that program.
So, well, and I'm sure the strength of your volunteer community is part of what gets you that accreditation. So, well, you're certainly to be complimented. Anything I should have asked that I forgot to ask, Laura?
How to stay in touch.
There you go.
Through our website, you can actually subscribe for email updates, and really that is the most important one. We do, programs are coming online weekly, so the best way is to subscribe to our website for updates or to monitor our Facebook page and become a fan.
Or just stop in, because the museum, I think one of the things that people don't realize is the museum is not static. You have the Welcome Gallery is always changing in terms of its exhibits. The gift shop's always changing, and other things. So it's worth stopping in just for a visit.
That's right.
Very good. Well, Laura, I really appreciate you being with us today.
Well, thank you for your ongoing support as well.
Our pleasure. We're fans of the ward, certainly. And we thank you for watching Community Foundation Spotlight. And we'll remind you once again that two things really today. The Community Foundation's annual meeting is coming up on November the 4th at the Fountains here in Salisbury. It's a lunch meeting at 11:30. Hope, Laura, we'll see you there. And it's an opportunity for anyone to join us and hear about the work of the foundation and share in some of the outstanding awards that are presented. They're kind of like this year we're presenting a Volunteer of the Year Award, the Morris Humanitarian Award, and the Henson Nonprofit Excellence Award. And they're kind of like the Oscars for the nonprofit community. So come out and join us if you're interested, and you can check out our website at www.cfes.org. Or if you're interested in volunteering, go to shorecan.org and volunteer. And thank you for watching Community Foundation Spotlight on Pac14.